You got your first pair of gloves at 9, dreaming of making catches that shouldn't be possible. While other kids wanted to run the ball and throw touchdowns, you craved the spotlight that comes with being unstoppable in the open field. By 7th grade, you were every quarterback's favorite target, the kid who could catch anything thrown remotely in his direction and turn 5-yard slants into house calls. Your highlight tape looked like a circus act. You didn't just catch passes, you redefined what it meant to get open. High school was your personal playground. Archbishop Rummel in Louisiana became your showcase stage. Every Friday night, defensive coordinators spent 3 hours trying to figure out how to stop you. 115 receptions for 2,152 yards and 30 touchdowns over your career. You weren't just good, you were inevitable. Recruiting was a feeding frenzy. Every major program calling daily. Florida had you committed first, but then LSU swooped in with promises. Your coach saw something special in a camp scrimmage. You running a slant and you go against one of the top defensive backs they were recruiting. You won clearly. I don't know if he knows it, but he's coming to LSU, the coach told your father. You followed that vision to Baton Rouge. Freshman year at LSU was about learning. You had 23 catches for 313 yards with 3 scores. Solid numbers for a true freshman, but nothing compared to what was coming. You were just getting started, building chemistry with a quarterback who was about to change everything. Then came 2019. Your sophomore season wasn't just a breakout, it was a masterpiece. You caught 84 passes for 1,780 yards and 20 touchdowns. 6 times you eclipsed the 100-yard mark, and an additional 3 times you eclipsed 200 receiving yards in a game. The Vanderbilt game was pure poetry. 10 catches for 229 yards and 4 touchdowns. You weren't just beating defensive backs, you were embarrassing them on national television. LSU finished the year undefeated and won the College Football Playoff National Championship. The national title game against Clemson was your coronation. 221 yards against the Tigers on the biggest stage in college football. You were awarded the Fred Biletnikoff Award as the best receiver in college football. You were named a unanimous All-American. You had conquered college football completely. There was nothing left to prove at LSU. A month before the start of the 2020 season, you announced that you were opting out to concentrate on your NFL career. While other players needed another year to develop, you were already NFL ready. The professional ranks were calling. The combine got canceled because of COVID, but your LSU tape spoke for itself. You were projected as a top 10 pick, maybe even a top 5 if a team fell in love with your ceiling. Draft night arrived, and the Cincinnati Bengals selected you 5th overall. The same Bengals who hadn't won a playoff game since 1990. The same Bengals with cheap ownership and facilities that looked like they hadn't been updated since the Carter administration. But hey, at least they had your college quarterback now. The college magic could continue in Cincinnati, right? You signed your 4-year rookie contract worth $30.8 million. You were set for life before you played a single NFL snap. You became the first player in franchise history to wear the number 1. The press conference was filled with promises about reuniting college teammates and bringing championship culture to Cincinnati. Then, training camp happened, and you started dropping passes. Not just any passes, routine slants, simple comebacks, throws you'd been catching since middle school. You tallied 4 drops in your last 2 preseason games. Cincinnati fans started panicking. National media started questioning the pick. Did the Bengals waste the 5th overall selection? Are his hands not ready for NFL speed? Should he have stayed at LSU another year? The criticism was immediate and merciless. You went from can't miss prospect to potential bust in 3 preseason games. Your explanation made it worse. The ball is different because it is bigger, you said. It doesn't have the white stripes on the side, so you can't see the ball coming from the tip point. So you actually have to look for the strings on the ball at the top, which is hard to see because the whole ball is brown and you have 6 strings that are white. The internet exploded. Isn't this the guy that took an entire season off to get ready for the NFL, and he didn't bother trying to use an NFL football? Critics everywhere piled on. You were working overtime to fix it. I do at least 40 a day, you said, putting in some 500 tennis ball days after the drops. The tennis balls are for eye concentration and eye coordination. But nobody wanted to hear explanations. They just saw drops and assumed you forgot how to catch. Week 1 arrived, and you were ready to silence every critic who questioned your hands. Despite early struggles in the preseason, you played your first career regular season game against the Minnesota Vikings. First target of your NFL career? A perfect catch. The crowd exhaled like they've been holding their breath for months. Your unbelievable rookie season ends with 81 catches for 1,455 yards and 13 touchdowns in 17 games. You are named NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year and Second Team All-Pro after your incredible debut season. And then the magical playoff run began. In the wildcard game against Las Vegas, you had 9 receptions for 116 receiving yards, helping the Bengals win their first playoff game since 1990. In the divisional round against Tennessee, you recorded 5 receptions for 109 receiving yards, making you the youngest player in NFL history to record multiple 100-yard receiving games in a single postseason. In the AFC Championship game, you caught 6 passes for 54 yards and a touchdown in the overtime win against the Chiefs, helping the Bengals advance to their first Super Bowl in 33 years. You done it. As a rookie, you taken a franchise that hadn't won a playoff game in 31 years all the way to the promised land. Super Bowl 56, the biggest stage in sports. Everything you'd worked for since those Friday nights in Louisiana came down to 60 minutes against the Los Angeles Rams. This was your moment to cement your legacy, not just as a great player, but as a champion. The game was everything you dreamed of and everything you'd feared. You caught 5 passes for 89 yards, doing your job on the biggest stage. The Bengals led at halftime. You were 30 minutes away from immortality, 30 minutes away from validating every prediction, every accolade, every dollar of your rookie contract. But then, the Rams pass rush got home. Their defense started taking over. The game slipped away, 23-20. You played well enough to win, but football is a team sport, and your team came up just short. The confetti fell on someone else's shoulders. The trophy went to someone else's hands. You became the latest in a long line of great players who did everything right individually, but still walked away empty-handed. Your 368 postseason receiving yards set a rookie record. All those records, all that individual brilliance, and you still went home with nothing but the bitter taste of what if. Year 2 brought new expectations and old criticisms. He's only good because of his quarterback. Their college chemistry gives him an unfair advantage. Put him with any other quarterback and see what happens. Like having a good quarterback is somehow cheating. The thing is, they weren't entirely wrong. You and your quarterback did have chemistry that couldn't be taught. You knew when he was going to scramble before he did. He knew when you were going to break off routes before you signaled. But that wasn't luck. That was hundreds of hours of work building trust. Meanwhile, other receivers get praised for having good quarterbacks. When other star receivers have elite quarterbacks, it's great route running. When you have yours, it's system chemistry. The double standard was exhausting. Years 3 and 4 brought massive expectations. The team extended your quarterback. They signed free agents. They drafted help. This was supposed to be the window, championship or bust. The pressure was suffocating. Every drop got analyzed. Every route got scrutinized. You weren't just trying to help your team win. You were trying to prove you were worth the investment, worth the hype, worth being the face of a franchise. Your numbers stayed elite. Pro Bowls every year, all pro selections, individual success across the board. But team success? That was harder to come by. Injuries piled up. The offensive line struggled. The defense couldn't stop anybody. Year 4 became about legacy. You were in your prime. Your quarterback was healthy. The team was built around both of you. The championship window was open. But windows don't stay open forever in the NFL. Without a contract extension, you had everything to prove. So you went out and had the greatest season in franchise history. You finished the season with historic numbers that demanded respect. You won the Triple Crown after leading the league in receptions, 127, receiving yards, 1,708, and receiving touchdowns, 17. You became just the 6th player in the Super Bowl era to achieve the receiving Triple Crown. You signed a deal that makes you the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. You'd finally gotten paid like the superstar you'd proven to be. But the contract came with a price. Even more pressure, even higher expectations, even less patience for anything short of a championship. You gave the game everything. Perfect routes in traffic, catches that defied physics, leadership that carried locker rooms, historic seasons that rewrote record books. You made quarterbacks look better, made offensive coordinators look smarter, made bad teams competitive. You put up numbers that previous generations of receivers could only dream about. Triple Crown winner, record-setting rookie campaign, multiple All-Pro selections, the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. For all the individual brilliance, all the broken records, all the highlight reel catches, you're still chasing that one elusive prize that would validate everything. Maybe next year the defense holds up. Maybe next year the coaching gets better. Maybe next year everything finally clicks and you get to feel confetti falling on your shoulders. Or maybe you end up like so many great receivers before you, with Hall of Fame numbers in an empty trophy case, wondering what could have been if you'd been drafted by a different team, in a different year, with a different defense. You're the only kid on the field who doesn't want the ball. You don't dream of touchdowns, you dream of ruining them. While other kids imagine game-winning grabs, you picture yourself knocking the ball loose at the last second. You run backwards for fun. You mirror footsteps like they're your own shadow. You jump routes like you have a crystal ball. You've been this way since elementary school. You didn't copy the swagger, you invented it. By junior high, you're no longer a kid, you're a reputation. Each interception you make silences stands and shatters friendships. You're either worshipped or hated, nothing in between. High school is a blur. Your corner one is a sophomore, and no one questions it. Every Friday night, your job is to erase someone else's dreams. They try you once, maybe twice, then they stop. The quarterbacks already know to look away. The receivers already know not to celebrate too early. By senior year, you've got the visor, the tape, the drama, the offers. Everyone cheers your highlights, but no one sees your anxiety before each snap. One slip, one misread, one fraction of a second too slow, and everything you've built disappears. You're starting to wonder if greatness is worth what it takes from you. College? You walk onto campus and immediately start fights, not with your teammates, but with the depth chart. You demand wide receiver one every practice. You talk trash to the receivers coach. You bait the quarterback into throwing your way just so you can pick it and flex for the sideline. You're cocky, but you back it up, and they hate that. You start as a freshman, lock up as a sophomore. First team everything by junior year. Analysts say you've got pro-level instincts. Scouts say top 10 pick, easy. They start comparing you to legends. But the Heisman? Never even mentioned, because you play defense, because you play corner. You shut down 3 future first-round receivers, but the finalist list is all quarterbacks who've never seen a defensive back they couldn't avoid. By the time draft day comes, you're already one of the most hated and most feared DBs in the country, and you wouldn't have it any other way, because the island is your home now, and it's getting lonelier by the day. You go top 5. The team that picks you, a dumpster fire. Bottom 5 pass defense, no real pass rush. A coordinator who still thinks cover 2 is revolutionary. But they don't draft you to develop, they draft you to fix it. All of it, right now. Day 1, you're matched up with all pro wideouts. Day 1, you're corner 1. Day 1, they expect you to erase names that have been eating DBs alive for a decade. The coaches say, just don't let them behind you. But your agent whispers, just don't get injured. And your instincts say, just make sure they feel you. You do your job. You follow wide receiver 1 across the field. No safety help, no excuses, no fear. And you lock him up. But guess what? The quarterback doesn't throw your way. So the box score says 0 tackles, 0 pass breakups. Analysts say, quiet game, didn't make much of an impact. Meanwhile, you just made a $20 million receiver look like a practice squad decoy. But here's what they don't tell you. At corner, the better you play, the less they notice. Next game, One hitch route gets caught in front of you, and now you're getting exposed. The rookie QB throws 3 picks. Growing pains. The rookie running back fumbles twice. Learning curve. You give up 1 completion? Maybe he's not ready. Maybe he's overhyped. Maybe he can't handle the NFL. Every snap is a headline. You are a rookie, but they're already judging you like a vet. You were drafted to save the defense. You don't get time to grow. You get thrown into the fire and told not to melt. And for what? To earn the right to be ignored when you finally figure it out? You've arrived. You're not just good, you're technically flawless. You don't grab, you don't panic, you don't bite. Quarterbacks look to your side, then check it down. Every single time. You're so good, you become invisible. Your name doesn't show up on the highlight reels because no one throws at you. Commentators say, quiet today from the corner. But the reality is, you just erased wide receiver 1 so thoroughly, he never even tried. And here's what is completely invisible to casual fans. You make a quarterback look away before the snap. You have mastered the hardest skill in football, and it's never mentioned. And when you finally get targeted, it's on 3rd and 8 against a slot fade. The pass is 5 inches high. The receiver gets one hand on it and can't bring it in. And somehow, you're trending on Twitter. He almost gave that up. He's not locked down like he used to be. No context, no film, just a screenshot and a bad camera angle. You spend the week correcting a narrative built on 1 incomplete pass in a game where you allowed 0 yards. Your coordinator gives you game balls in team meetings. Your position coach calls you elite behind closed doors. But publicly, you're just the guy who didn't get beat that badly on 1 play. Because you play corner. Because your excellence is expected. Because your perfection is the baseline. Because you're measured not by what you do, but by what you prevent. And the better you are, the less credit you get. Until 1 bad rep. Then they remember your name and never forget it. You're 29. You've made multiple Pro Bowls. You've been first team All-Pro. You've shadowed the best in the game and made them look ordinary. But now, you're losing a step. You still lock up 95% of reps. Still study film like it's gospel. Still know every split, release, and stem in the route tree. But your hamstring? It talks to you more than your DB coach. The burst is a split second slower. And the moment a receiver gets a step, washed. Overrated. Time to move on. The team wants to manage your snaps, put you in positions to succeed. What they mean is, they don't trust your legs anymore. You used to be feared. Now you're tested. Not because you're worse, but because you're not invincible anymore. You make 1 mistake in week 3, and suddenly your whole resume gets erased. Nobody mentions the 3 goal line stops. Nobody cares about the forced fumble. Nobody notices that you gave up 0 catches the last 2 weeks. They just post a clip of you getting beat, slow it down, add emojis, and make it go viral. The perfect coverage from yesterday? Ancient history. The pick 6 from last month? Forgotten. The receiver you shut down 4 straight games? Irrelevant. You're only as good as your last target, and at corner, that's a game of Russian roulette. The coaches still respect you. The film still shows you're elite, but perception buries you. And now the rookie, the one who got torched all preseason, he's next up. Because you're too expensive, too loud, too established. They don't want experience, they want youth, they want potential. And just like that, the island you built starts to sink. Not because you can't play, but because every corner has an expiration date, and yours just came due. You don't announce your retirement. You don't get a farewell tour. You don't even get a locker anymore.
You just stop getting calls. You stay in shape. You post workout clips. You reply "still got it" to old highlights. But deep down, you know, the league moved on. You gave them 10 years of lockdown. You gave them prime years, elite film, bloody knuckles, busted shoulders. You were the standard. Now, you're watching cornerbacks who couldn't carry your cleats get ESPN segments and seven-figure deals. You try a comeback. You sign with a new team, new system, new city. You're wearing a number that doesn't even feel like yours. They put you in zone. They rotate you out. They say it's load management, but you know what it is. You're just a name now, a ghost of what you used to be. You still have flashes, you still have juice, but one misstep in week 2 and the headlines say, it's time to hang it up. And just like that, the game you mastered for decades no longer has space for you. The quarterback you used to intercept, he's still starting at 38. The receiver you used to shadow, still getting separation at 35. But you were done at 31. Because corners don't gradually decline, they fall off cliffs. They go from shut down to shut down. And everyone pretends it's normal. Everyone acts like it's just the cycle. But it's not normal. It's not fair. It's not right. It's just what happens to corners. It's just what happens when you play a position built to break you. Now you're on TV, talking about guys who never had your instincts, never had your tape, never had your smoke. You break down film of corners getting cooked, and you're expecting to stay neutral. You smile through it, but you know damn well you were better. And here's the part they'll never understand. You weren't judged by what you did. You were judged by what you didn't allow. And no matter how many words you say into that microphone, you'll never get the respect you earned out there. Because that's what it means to be a cornerback. You're invisible when you're great. You're viral when you're not. And when it's all over, no one remembers what you stopped. They only remember what got by you. The quarterback wins the Super Bowl. The receiver makes the catch. But the corner just doesn't get beat. That's the cornerback life. That's the cornerback curse. That's why it sucks to be a cornerback. But you know what doesn't suck? The NFL draft, where some poor college kid is about to find out the truth you learned the hard way. That playing corner isn't just about covering receivers. It's about covering your own ass when the whole world is waiting for you to fail. If you're still here, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and drop your favorite cornerback of all time in the comments.